Yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody. This is Jeremy with Regional Entertainment News. Make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe. We have a returning guest with us. We haven't seen him in a while. We got Johnny Rabb, the drummer for Collective Soul. Johnny, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. I'm doing great. And I'm happy to see you again. Last time I saw you, I believe, was in Fayetteville at the little amphitheater there, the wall amp. Is that right?
Yes,
Walmart amphitheater?
the Walmart amp. Yeah. And then before that, the Collective Soul plays at the Hard Rock. They're actually a returning guest. Speaking of the Hard Rock, you guys are going to make a triumphant return there again on the 20th, which is next Thursday.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. We're always doing, that was our last time you and I talked, but like next Thursday, the Hard Rock, great venue. And it's kind of exciting to be in that area because that's where most of my family had lived. So I get to see a lot of them. And, it kind of gives you that cool feeling of being back home and then, kind of grounded. And a lot of fans coming out there. It's been a, good tour so far. So we're really looking forward to Hard Rock once again. That's a great venue for us.
I've been covering there for about 10 years. I can tell you it's a world class venue. They put on amazing acts just like yourself. And if you can't join the Hard Rock show, if you're fortunate enough, they have Norman, Oklahoma the next day. So you've got two Oklahoma shows back to back.
Yeah, and again, like we're so familiar with that area, and as I said, it's I don't want to say home base, but it just makes me feel reminds me of my parents, reminds me of my brother and family that were in Arkansas and that Oklahoma border, Rogers and Fayetteville and Oklahoma and all that. So once again, every time we play there, it's awesome. We have a great time, and the facilities are amazing. So whatever show you can check out both if you can. But we're excited to come back and rock there.
Now, one of the questions I forgot to ask you last time, you have been the drummer going on for 11 years now. What was it like when you got that phone call and found out you're going to be with this band?
It was a long process, but yet kind of short. At the NAM show is where I met up with Will Turpin at a friend's birthday party, Jen Lowe, and we were just talking like musicians would. And I didn't know, honestly, I didn't recognize Will until he told me. And I was like, "Oh, my friend's in your band," and he's like, "Well, actually, we're looking for a new drummer." And I still thought, "Yeah, this is not how it really goes. You don't just get a gig through NAM show." I was working for Roland Electronics V drums at that time. But then like a couple of weeks went by, went over to Ed's in Atlanta, jammed with them like really quickly one day. And then it was like, I don't know if they like what I'm doing. And then they're like, "You want to go on tour?" And that was Dosage tour, doing the full album and then another like hour of hits. So probably the longest set we did over 2 hours or about 2 hours of music with a little, you know, um, intermission in the middle. And I didn't know. I didn't know. Even when I was on the first tour, I thought, oh, they just want me to fill in. I was used to that being a Nashville drummer. And now it's like, I really believe it's about the 12th year right now. Could be the 11th, but regardless, it's flown by. Um, and since I saw you last, I think I still had the tour beard. We're kind of doing the tour beards right now for fun. And it's been amazing. There's been plenty of recordings and live video. We've got a documentary coming out next year that we did at Elvis's Palm Springs home. A good friend of Ed's and now mine, and his partner owned that home in Palm Springs. So we had the opportunity to go in and record for 31 days in Palm Springs and recorded the new record. So a record will come out as well as a documentary. And it was an amazing experience. We were there for, mic'd up and filmed for 30 straight days. And that's going to be fun when that comes out. I cannot wait to see what the editing team and the production team does with that basically movie. I think it's going to be very exciting for everyone. And I'm honored to be a part of it. So that's what's up with us. We're going to record again this year. We truly have a few records in the can, so to speak. So we're not done. We're playing a few of the new tunes on this tour now that are unreleased, which is great as well. So,
Uh,
but
what-
your question, yeah, sorry to interrupt. Your question was, how was that phone call? I'm still kind of feel like that was yesterday. So I'm, of course, elated. These guys are like brothers and family to me. I mean, it truly is.
I've got to know you for 8 years, so I'm happy for about that. I met you, I believe, in 2015.
Yep, that's wonderful. And you've been doing a great job, and I'm proud of. I was talking to my wife about it. I was like, "You're doing such a great job with everything you're doing on interviews and meeting people." Saw you with the Box Masters and Billy Bob. My backyard neighbor David saw him in Indianapolis, and loved it. So that's cool.
I've been doing their photos for 7 years. Thank you for liking them.
It's fantastic. Oh
Um,
heck yeah, man!
I want to ask, what is your favorite venue you've got to play at with Collective Soul, and what is the hardest song you've had to record with them?
Okay, I apologize about having you repeat it, but my internet is pretty terrible. So say it again. I heard his hardest song to record, but what?
Hardest, uh-huh. And then what is your favorite venue?
Oh, okay. One of my favorite venues, besides, you got the kind of the Red Rocks, which is beautiful, but like one of our favorite venues in mine is the Casino Ballroom in where we're talking about the kind of Jersey Shore area up there. Casino Ballroom. It's intimate on the boardwalk. Everyone's right up on you. Um, every time we're there, we love it. We know what restaurants we like to go to, but it's really the fans right up on us and all the legendary acts that played there along before us, right? So that place is just this feeling of standing room only, nice left to right, view of the people, and they're just right on you in a general admission style. Uh, just the energy is massive. I mean, it's one of our favorites. We have plenty though, that are some beautiful theaters, new ones that are being made that we're blown away by, even smaller ones that are just like, whoa, this is like an, authentic old school theater. We're just like blown away. So it's like we get to see a lot, but that Casino Ballroom is one of our favorites. Um, hard to record. There's no real, I don't mean this in a bad way, no real hard to record. Some of the up tempo songs like are challenging. Like we play Cut the Cord, and it's up tempo rock, so it keeps me on my toes. I don't say on my toes. It's just physically demanding. Some of the stuff on the faster tempo side, a lot of cymbal choking, and you know just rocking through and making sure I don't miss something. But hard to record. Nothing. I don't mean this arrogantly, but nothing's hard. It's just trying to come up with an appropriate part. Maybe it's mentally hard because we will all produce it together, and Ed will say ideas. Everyone will say ideas. And the biggest thing say to anybody is you have to be willing to listen to your bandmates or to the producer without getting pissed off. There's no reason to. I learned this at age 12. If you can't take hey Jeremy, instead of playing that E minor in this rhythm, why don't you play it, open? Why don't you I don't want it muted. I want it, and you go, no, I like it muted. You kind of put a wet blanket, that's an analogy, a hypothetical wet blanket on the session. You have to be able to go, okay, let's try it. That's an important thing. So it's not ever hard. It is hard sometimes physically, but like mentally more, because you want to create a part that fits for the song. And sometimes it's hard to hold back too. I mean, I'm very, I think, good at holding back. Like I don't have to play a bunch of chops during our songs, but I have a tendency to be more funk and fusion driven. And so sometimes it can be like a drum fill I might think of might be a little too busy. So I'm willing to, if Ed's like, no, Rabb, stop, doing your Roger Rabbit, he calls it, like spazzing out. Instead of saying, I don't get defensive. I go, okay, I get it. Or not as much crash cymbals, please. Got it. And we just create. It's a team effort for sure.
Well, speaking of your amazing drum skills, congratulations when you held the Guinness Book of World Records. You had 1,071 strokes. The current record now is 1,208. Will you ever go back to try to beat it?
I don't think I could. I would love to try and have fun with it, but what I love is, I mean this in the most humble way too. What I love is I got to be a part of it at the beginning. And then Mike Mangini beat mine, and I was happy about that because, as you know, Mike's in Dream Theater, and I've known him way before then. And he is just an amazing drummer. But we got pigeonholed. Not he didn't get pigeonholed. I was getting pigeonholed into, he can only do that. So joining Collective Soul was such a blessing because I was getting a little bit burnt out, even though I was proud of it, but of being fastest drummer, a clinician only. That's all he can do. There's a lot of people online. He can't play like a beat. And it's like, no, that's what I grew up doing was playing music and songs. Simple groove is my favorite. If you asked me to choose fast over groove, it would be the groove and things like that. I'm very happy because at that age, I got some pretty fun publicity, I guess. That was kind of like solo publicity with VH1 and MTV. That was a fun thing in my late 20s or early 30s, whenever it was. And I tried for fun, but now what you have happening is it's kind of funny. This guy out of Greece that's got this kind of Mangini thing, and it's amazing. He really can twitch and play this. I don't think there's any catching up to him. And I even reached out and I said, "Hey, do you know Boo?" And he said, "Oh, I know Boo," but like he didn't speak to me as if he knew that I had anything to do with the WFD, which is the world fastest drummer, which is fine. And I think Mike is also just like so successful at Dream Theater. He's not really worried about, I don't want to speak for him, but we're doing music. And I love Boo and I love that program he invented, which is the world's fastest drummer. Um, but you're seeing everybody, which makes me happy and a little bit weird. You see all the people that see the old videos of us and they're now taking it to a whole nother level. And that's what's supposed to happen. I don't know who is, I'm being very serious right now. Because when Thomas Lang first came out, Marco Miniman, those are buddies of mine. If you're not aware of their drumming, they kind of like created the super drumming, like, whoa, you can do that? Like, holy crap, how do you physically do that? Now there's dudes like Stefano and the dude from Gorgo. I feel so bad. It's okay. They're all colleagues of mine from different countries that are just taking the skill level and technical level to the highest degree. So I'm happy to have been a part of some of that. And I still love to work on it, but I don't think I'll be surprised if anyone catches that. Like, I'm not sure if that one dude is the dude that did the 1200 because I think he could do like more. I think he could beat it right now. I'd love to even ask him. You know what I mean? It's because it's insane. I'll try to send you some of the links to these dudes.
Well,
It's ridiculous.
well, telling your fans, speaking of your amazing drumming skills, we also have fans if they want to order your drumsticks.
Yes, we are. We do have some what are called the rhythm saws, which are the teeth with the stick with the teeth in the middle that you can make different rhythms. We're just getting manufacturing. We've taken a quick. It's tough. Ever since COVID, the supply chains are tough to get. Just manufacturing products in. As you know, it's changed. That stick company is still a dream of mine because now me and my partner Troy Dares have full ownership, which I finally got that back years ago of my own name, the patent, and then our stick model. So we're trying really hard to get them out. We've got some great prototypes that I played for 3 years for Collective Soul, and they lasted. It was amazing. So we're trying really hard to get that back off the ground. And then at the same time, and I told you earlier, we have a publishing company starting called Rada Media. And Rada I like to say this is Rabb Dares, that's Troy and myself, Rada Media, to try to give artists a better fair shake of their publishing. That's our goal, and to get their works out there. It actually, all I'll say is it goes in their favor, not the companies, and they actually become part of kind of a co-op of the company. That's coming soon. I've got at least 3 releases myself coming out first, and those will be followed up with video tutorials, etc. But Troy and I are working hard together. As I said, he's my business partner in this to get the sticks and other endeavors back off the ground. But the publishing seems to be going to be first. I'm not even kidding. As we speak here, I'm working on editing, one of the books. So here on the road. But yeah, the sticks, thank you for that. And I really hope that we can get that back and going and people can order. I'm really proud of the stick line that we have. It's just a matter of us getting relaunched.
I want to say when you visit the Johnny Rabb website, there's 3 that are currently available, and then it says 2 more that are coming soon. Is that what's the supply issue right now?
I appreciate that question. website's going to be completely revamped. And of course, I hate that. It's almost like, remember the old days where you go to site and there'd literally be the worst graphic of under construction. The guy, like
I'm not.
website under, it's like the worst. Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
like the
old.
worst.
I
Like
remember
the worst.
that.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the worst thing. We're not quite that bad off, but we are really relaunching. So like even right now, we have some supply in, mainly the rhythm saw, but it really will be a true, you'll be the first to know, or one of, when it's ready to, relaunch and have inventory in. But there's definitely plans daily in the works of getting that back going, and getting new artists and getting people to play our sticks again, especially the guys and women and men that liked them in the early days. So, and new people.
We mentioned earlier the 80s band does covers, and then you specify 80s live music. Can we talk about that?
Oh yeah, yeah. So that band is called NU80, and the Instagram for that is, again, we're working on our following. The website's going to be the most complete right now, and that's nu80band.com, or at nu80band on Instagram. We have an EP was called Vaccine, because it was right during COVID, and we felt like we weren't making fun of COVID, but we were all locked down. And the title, meaning, let's let this music be the vaccine. Whatever your stance is on the thing, COVID was an awful time. So Vaccine was a reminder of that time, and that we recorded most of it at my home. Then we worked with Bob St. John on mastering and mixing, in the opposite order, mixing and mastering in Florida at his home studio, where Paul, our lead singer, Paul Souza, did lead vocals there. And then Joe Harrison also recorded, that's the guitar player, and he did all the keyboards. I played a little bit of piano, but it's very minor. We did that whole thing in the box, and then let Bob mix and master. And I'm super proud of it. We tried to, we don't want it to be looked at like the record looked at as like, oh, it's 80s. We'd love for it to be looked at as modern, almost like The Weeknd. If you listen to some Weeknd stuff, it's like, it's aha in the 80s, period. No offense to him, because he's very popular, but and very, very talented. But if you go listen to it, and I hope you will, maybe you'll do a review on it or something, but it's just a 5-song EP. We wrote and produced all the songs. Really proud of that. That's the original side. And we've got a ton more. Those guys continue to work when I'm on the road. We have a pact where it doesn't stop. Paul and I started it. And the person, so I do all the personnel. We have myself on drums, background vocals. Sometimes I write with, keys, and I trade it off. Then we've got Paul Souza on lead vocals. He also writes in a very unique way, where he'll do melodies, and then we come around him and go, dude. And it's amazing. His lyrics, his writing, and then Joe Harrison on guitar and keyboards and vocals, and then Nathan Gray, or I like to call him Nate Gray, on bass and back vocals as well. So all those guys we all own it together. Paul and I started it, but we all own it together. And pretty soon we'll have we did a show in December, finally, to kind of represent what the band is like for booking. You know too well how hard it is to get agents to look at you without them knowing what you sound like and look like. So the goal is to do nationwide touring and have it be I'm sure you can, like a production, not just a bar band at all. We've actually tried to avoid just doing the typical, hey, we're playing the bar and covers. It's a production, like 80s show, video, different things like that, the background and full production, to where, casinos, corporate, and also like, smaller theaters up to any size theater would, book this in there. Not a tribute act, but you get my point, like an actual evening of
80s
your favorite 80s synth pop. Yeah. So that's that band.
I wanted
Going
to
great.
ask you, do you remember the first musician that you met that you wanted to get a photo with, and how that experience taught you to interact with your fans?
Yeah, I think I heard the whole thing. How to interact is what you said? Sorry, I heard the photo and inspiration. Say it again, Jeremy.
Do you remember the first musician that you met that you wanted to get a photo with, and how that experience helped you interact with your fans?
Oh, I appreciate that. There's two people that happened to, and I'm going to name three, but the first one was, I was 16 years old. And I was very, there was no internet, so I was I was a huge fan of all sorts of music, jazz, fusion, funk, and Omar Hakim had been with Sting. He released his own solo record called Rhythm Deep. And Omar, you guys can see him on Dream of the Blue Turtles, like the Sting, all that stuff that he did, that documentary. The guy's played with everybody's David Bowie to, I mean, you name it, Chic, Nile Rodgers, beyond touring. Omar, I got a photo with. I transcribed one of his songs on Rhythm Deep and did that thing you do. You go back to the convention center, and David Sanborn was playing, jazz fusion sax player, great. And I waited for Omar to come out, and I gave him I'm like, here, Omar, here's this music, where'd you get this from? What magazine did you get this from? I'm like, oh no, I did this. You did this? And I was 16, still in high school. Idolized him, Steve Smith, Greg Bissonette, all these players. I mean, Steve Jordan. Got a photo. I still have the photo this day. And you said, how did it help me? It helped me to see that as a young kid, he didn't know. And Sonny Emery is the same thing. Sonny Emery was playing with Sanborn as well a summer earlier. He was amazing. And we're all, when I say friends, I don't mean that I'm calling Sonny all the time, but Omar, we're colleagues, but I do consider him a friend. We'll keep in touch on text. I can text him and say, hey, he was playing for Journey for a while when he was subbing, and we opened for Journey, and he's like, is Johnny here? And I remember Ed being kind of like, what? Like, what? And so came back in the trailer in Canada, and we hung out, and it's just amazing. It makes me just always realize that him being polite and kind, and then like almost where age doesn't make a difference. I was really young, and he was not old. I don't think he's old now, but age kind of does this. And then all of a sudden I'm with Omar in a car doing clinics all over Europe, with him, talking to him in the back seat. And so it matters. And the same thing happened with Steve Smith. Steve Smith, original Journey drummer, but I'm a fan of Steve's Journey playing, but was really a fan and still am of his own solo projects in fusion, funk, like Vital Information, his band that he runs. So Steve and I have become close friends. He wrote the foreword to my book. You get it. You get it. You've kind of followed not my steps, but like you're doing your thing. You built by meeting people and by shaking hands, saying hello. So, I don't know. I was just that little kid that waited age patiently, and some were cool, some were not, but Omar was amazing. So that was the first one. And then followed by Steve Smith in college, meeting him at the Zildjian Cymbal Factory, and he happened to be there, So it helped a lot. It just, you never know who you're inspiring. Let's put it that way.
There we go. And then I need to ask about upcoming projects for 2024 and any social media you would like to plug.
Yeah. Upcoming projects are to get NU80, our band, finally to a point of doing shows that we wanted to do. And I'm so proud of the guys because we took a long time, and it takes hard work to get just even promos out. When people see a promo, they go, oh, whatever, it's a promo. It's like, no, it's getting the camera crew, it's getting the studio, it's getting enough followers to make the live show look great and have a good sound. And these guys are some of the best players I played with. So NU80 is happening. Collective Soul is always rocking. We got a new record coming out. So proud of that. We've got Ed is just writing like a crazy. It's so awesome. The guys, I don't think has ever been tighter, in my opinion. We are going to be touring like crazy for the 30th anniversary. Some overseas stuff is in the talks. I don't know yet, but keep your ears open there. Of course, the US tour, hopefully Canada again. 2024 should be busy with that. And then things, my publishing company with Troy, the Rada Media, and hopefully getting the sticks off the ground, and my home studio tracking for other artists. I've got a full studio that I call Fungin Recording or Fungin Studios. And I do tracks for folks out of there. So the education side, the live touring, and of course, family, trying to all juggle it all. They kind of sometimes get the short end of the stick. So that's important too, to keep everyone in the loop and you know what I mean? Like try to like keep that balance, and maybe there'll be some time to fish for like a day. I don't know, but those are most of the projects I got going for 2024. So be on the lookout, Jeremy, though, because Collective Soul is not only, we're going to hopefully see you at one of these shows, but Collective Soul's tearing it up in 2024 with more recording and more releases and more touring.
So we'll have all those links below. We're going to have Johnny Rabb's link below. We're going to have his drumsticks. We're going to have the Collective Soul links, the upcoming venues, Johnny Rabb's Instagram. Is there anything else you would like me to plug or talk about that we missed?
Buddy, no, I just appreciate you over the years. You're how nice you've been. As I said, you captured some great photos of my mom, and that I appreciate you giving me those because I don't have many from recent before she passed away. So that's amazing. And just being so kind and down to earth and professional, and also passionate about what you do. And other than that, we're just going to see everyone soon with Collective Soul. As I said, I'm here live in Iowa right now. We're playing tomorrow night at Rhythm City Casino, and we'll be joining you guys over in, I like to say Arkansas, but I know it's not, but the Hard Rock and the other venue that we're doing in the Oklahoma area. So you'll have those links. Pardon my brain, it's scattered because we just got off the bus. But
It's all right.
yeah,